Every time I look at life, I think there's two things. There's two ways that we can choose to live. I see that there's one group that's running a race that's filled with desire, driven by competition, and distracted. And there's this other group that walks behind, picking up from those stories, taking back a lesson to leave behind a legacy for a lifetime. Contestia, distinguished judges, my dear friends, when I take a pause to look into human life, the only thing that I see that all our actions result in is just two things. How many of you have been in that moment, in a time, in a space, where you lost connection with what was happening around you? The time changed. You didn't feel time pass by. The best example I could go back to is those little phone calls. Hi, it's been so long. And as these lovely phone calls exist, you suddenly realize, oh my God, it's been 4 hours. You've been talking for 4 hours. What changed? What changed that was you were in a different place. You were in a moment that your senses were so energized, and whatever you were doing was so engaging that all you were doing was energizing yourself. And there are things in life that we do at the same time. The places, things, and people we surround ourselves with will take energy out of us, which take energy out of us. And sadly, sometimes I say that many of us choose to exist there. If you believe in doing things that are energizing you, then my friends, definitely you need to change between the two worlds you choose to live in. Hands up those of you who agree that we have two worlds that we live in. There is one world which came to existence before you were born, and it will be in existence even when you're gone. A world that was born outside you. And this other world that you brought to life, it came into existence because you came to existence, a world that was born inside you. If you believe in doing things that energize you, and you want to change the world you choose to live in, my dear friends, I think we're left with two choices of what we act for. You want to act for a profit or for a purpose. The only lesson I learned as I looked back towards humanity was that those leaders who chose to challenge, push the borders forward, and move humanity forward were people who acted with purpose and brought to life a world that came to life because they came to life. And no matter what the odds were, everything they did energized them so much that it just kept moving forward. Sadly, when I look at us today, I see that most of us, driven by desires, manipulated by competition, raising in a world that's driving the profits, choosing to live in a world that's outside us, and every action we perform is taking energy out of us. If you were like me, standing in between, the only thing that I can say is, I think it's time to believe, change, and act. Because my dear friends, one day when we shut our eyes and leave this beautiful world, let me tell you, we will be not be judged by the things we possessed. We will only be judged by what we pursue.